Today, we're getting straight to the point, without unnecessary words. There comes a time in relationships when you start hearing phrases from your girlfriend that turn everything upside down inside. These words can be hidden signs that the relationship is no longer bringing you anything positive, and maybe it's time to move on. We all know that not everything in relationships needs to be perfect, but there are certain phrases that make you question whether the person in front of you still values you or the relationship as a whole. These phrases aren't just words, they're warning signs. Often, they indicate that your future together may be uncertain. Today, I've gathered the most common phrases people often hear, but don't always understand correctly. Remember, it's not always about betrayal, but if such words are heard regularly, it's a serious reason to think about it. In this video, we'll examine which signals you should take seriously and why you shouldn't ignore such red flags if they become a norm in your conversations. You don't understand me. It seems like a harmless phrase, but in a relationship, it can mean something more. When your girlfriend says this, it often means she wants to avoid a specific conversation or sidestep discussing a real issue. Essentially, she's building a wall that prevents you from understanding what's going on, turning the situation into a one-sided problem. You're at fault because you don't understand. Think about it. How often does this phrase actually lead to getting to the truth? Usually, it's followed by deflection, vague hints, or reproaches. Instead of explaining what's really bothering her, she shifts the focus onto you, making you feel responsible for her dissatisfaction. This creates an illusion that the problem lies with you, when in reality, she may be unwilling to communicate openly. This phrase can be a means of manipulation. It makes you feel guilty and question your own actions, even if you haven't done anything wrong. Don't let words like this throw you off track. Relationships require openness, not avoidance of issues. You're not what I expected. These words may sound like simple disappointment, but in reality, they convey a deeper mismatch between her expectations and who you truly are. When your girlfriend says this, she's essentially stating that you don't meet her expectations or ideals. This undermines your self-esteem and makes you feel inadequate. Her words not only disappoint, but also indicate that she doesn't accept you for who you are, which directly points to a lack of respect. She may have expected something different from the relationship, and is now projecting her inner conflict onto you. But it's worth asking yourself, why should her expectations influence how you view yourself? If she sees you through the lens of what she needs, rather than valuing you as a person, this attitude will only lead to disappointment, especially for you. You deserve to be with someone who accepts you without conditions. True closeness isn't about finding the ideal, it's about embracing someone with all their unique qualities. If your girlfriend isn't ready for this, "You're not what I expected" becomes a signal that it might be time to rethink the future of this relationship. I don't need anything from you. When she says, "I don't need anything from you," it's not just a refusal of material help or support. This phrase signifies emotional detachment and, perhaps, a reluctance to build a genuine connection with you. She's effectively showing that she doesn't need your support, presence, or care. This approach can create the impression that you're living as two separate people, without emotional attachment or a need for each other. Emotional closeness is the foundation of any strong relationship, and if she says she doesn't need anything, it can be a red flag. Maybe she simply isn't interested in a deep connection, making your relationship superficial and unstable. Independence is good, of course, but relationships require balance. Each partner should feel that their presence matters to the other. If her words reflect indifference, it's essential to consider whether you want to be with someone who doesn't value your support, or aim to build a future together. It's all your fault. When someone shifts all responsibility for problems onto their partner, it's a sign of a toxic dynamic. The phrase, "it's all your fault," is a classic way to avoid personal responsibility and place blame on someone else. It suggests that your girlfriend is unwilling to acknowledge her mistakes, and doesn't feel the need to address the reasons behind your disagreements. In this way, she makes you feel guilty, even if there's no real reason for it. This attitude is destructive to your emotional well-being. You may start to believe that any issues in the relationship are solely your fault, even if they aren't. Such behavior often leads you to question yourself and your own worth. Relationships should be a partnership where each person takes responsibility for their actions. If she blames you for everything, it might be a sign that she's simply not ready for a mature relationship. Remember, you shouldn't constantly feel guilty or responsible for her happiness. You pay too much attention to the little things. This phrase may seem like a simple remark at first, but in reality, it reflects her disregard for your feelings and perspectives on what's important. When she says you focus too much on little things, she's essentially devaluing your opinions and interests, putting them second. If certain details matter to you and you find significance in them, any partner who respects you will try to take those things into account as well. She might call everything that seems insignificant to her little things, but to you, they are important. For example, if you pay attention to details in communication, care about fairness and honesty, and she sees that as a waste of time, that's already a difference in values. Over time, you'll start feeling misunderstood and undervalued. Relationships aren't a game of superiority where one person decides what matters and what doesn't. I'm not ready for a relationship. This phrase may seem like a simple excuse, but in most cases, it indicates her unwillingness to deepen your relationship or take responsibility for it. It's as if she's telling you, I don't see a future with you. Think about what lies behind this reluctance to move forward. Maybe she's just not as interested in you as you would like, or she's avoiding serious commitments. In any case, this phrase suggests that the relationship isn't going in the direction you might have hoped. If she's not ready for a relationship with you, why waste time and energy on it? Find someone who truly values you and is ready to build a future together. I need some time for myself. When your girlfriend says she needs time for herself, it's not always a sign that she just wants to rest. Often, this phrase means she feels emotionally distant or might already be considering leaving. She might not know how to say this directly, so she retreats to rethink things. If her feelings for you have faded, it's important to allow yourself the right to have an honest conversation. Instead of waiting for her decision, talk to her about what's happening. Act boldly, because a relationship where she doesn't want to be around is unlikely to make either of you happy. I'm not like everyone else. This phrase often sounds like a statement about being different, but behind it may lie an excuse for behavior that isn't always respectful to you. Sometimes, beneath this mask, there's a tendency to justify rudeness or inconsistency, implying that you'll have to accept her attitude. True respect in a relationship doesn't require explaining. I'm not like everyone else. If her behavior humiliates you, don't let the phrase about her uniqueness blind you from seeing the truth. I don't like it when you control me. This phrase sounds like an excuse, but in reality, it may be a way of keeping you at a distance. Imagine this situation. You genuinely care about her. Ask how her day went, where she was, and who she was with. Maybe you even show a little jealousy, which is quite natural. And in response, you hear an accusation that you're controlling her. Of course, no one wants to be truly controlled, as healthy relationships are built on trust and respect for personal space. However, if you notice that your care and involvement are constantly perceived as control, it could be a sign that she simply doesn't want to take responsibility for her actions. This phrase often hides an attempt to avoid accountability, to prevent you from asking questions. She might prefer free relationships, where she can do whatever she wants without explaining herself to a partner. When someone uses phrases like "don't control me," even when you're just showing interest, it hints at her desire to live her life without feeling obligated to you. A relevant question here is, why does your care make her so anxious? True love and respect involve genuine interest in your partner. If she repeatedly accuses you of controlling her, It suggests a reluctance to be transparent. And of course, it's important to consider your own actions. Are you really behaving in a way that makes it hard for her to breathe freely? Or are you simply interested in her life and concerned about her well-being? By honestly answering these questions, you'll understand whether her accusation is justified. But if, after this analysis, you realize your intentions are completely pure and she still rejects your care, this could point to serious issues in the relationship. You deserve to be with someone who doesn't see your attention as control and is open to honest communication. I don't want you to interfere in my life. This phrase is a serious signal that she doesn't want to build a full partnership with you. Relationships aren't just about romance and bright emotions. They also involve making decisions together, being part of each other's lives, and supporting each other in difficult moments. When someone says they don't want you to interfere in their life, it usually means they want to remain autonomous and not share important aspects of their reality with you. Here, you should ask yourself how much she really sees you as a part of her world. Partnership in a relationship means being willing to share not just the joys, but also the struggles. When she avoids your involvement and wants you to stay at a distance, it suggests she may not be ready for true closeness. Such phrases can act as a form of protection, a way of saying, "I can handle this myself. I don't need your opinion." In this case, you have the right to ask yourself, why is she even in a relationship if she doesn't want to share her life with you? Of course, everyone has their own personal space, but if she sees any of your involvement as interference, she might simply not view you as a close person. For her, relationships might be more about status than an actual union, and it's easier for her to deal with things on her own than consider your opinion. However, if she values you and sees you as a partner, she will be open to interacting with you, asking for your opinion, and taking it into account. If she keeps you at arm's length and doesn't let you into her life, think about whether it's worth continuing to be with someone who doesn't want to share anything important with you. You're too emotional. When she tells you that you're too emotional, it could be an attempt to belittle your feelings and create distance. Her words may imply that your emotions or concerns don't meet her expectations, suggesting that a real man shouldn't show weakness or openly talk about his emotions. This phrase is a form of manipulation, trying to make you doubt yourself, suppress your true feelings, and shut down. As a result, you might begin to feel guilty for your sincerity and emotionality, fearing it will push her away. However, the truth is that emotionality isn't weakness but a normal expression of your humanity. We all have the right to feel and share our emotions with those close to us, especially when those emotions are important for us and the relationship. In an ideal relationship, a partner won't tell you that you're too emotional. Instead, they'll support you and show empathy, because true closeness is built on openness and mutual understanding. If she says this to you, she may not be ready for a deep relationship and doesn't see you as an equal partner to be understood and supported. Instead of respecting your feelings, she dismisses them, which could indicate a lack of interest in your personality. The point is that people who truly respect and value you will never make you feel that your emotions are a problem. On the contrary, they will appreciate your openness because emotional transparency is a sign of trust. So, if she persistently calls you too emotional, it might signal that your values don't align, and she possibly expects a different type of relationship based on cold distance, rather than emotional closeness. In this case, you have the right to decide if you're willing to tolerate this or if you deserve a relationship where your feelings are met with understanding and respect. You're not like other guys. At first glance, this phrase might seem like a compliment, as if she values your uniqueness. However, often behind these words lies more than just praise. By saying you're not like other guys, she might subtly hint that you don't meet her ideal, that you fail to meet her expectations. This could mean she's comparing you to an ideal man who exists only in her mind, and you don't measure up to this image. The phrase becomes particularly uncomfortable if she doesn't explain what exactly she doesn't like about your traits, leaving you to guess what it is that you fall short on. Such words can make you feel like you're in a constant competition with this other hypothetical man, who supposedly meets her expectations better than you do. This comparison puts you at a disadvantage, as you're made to prove that you deserve her approval. Her idealization of someone else could lead her to push you to change in ways that don't suit you, or even issue ultimatums. In practice, this means she doesn't accept you as you are, and you likely feel constant pressure to be better to please her. In healthy relationships, no one should feel inferior because they don't meet someone's fantasies or ideals. If she sees you as a person worthy of respect and love, she won't need to compare you to other men. She will appreciate your qualities and work on the relationship without putting you alongside hypothetical rivals. If she's not ready to accept you as you are, without comparisons or idealizing others, this might suggest that what she wants isn't a true partnership, but rather conformity to superficial standards. It's important to remember that you deserve to be with someone who values you as a person, not just sees your flaws or mismatches with their expectations. Relationships should be built on respect, trust, and honesty. If you hear such phrases from your girlfriend, it may be a sign that she is not ready to value you or your relationship. Don't ignore these signals. Remember, a samurai doesn't hold on to what dishonors his honor. If a relationship undermines your self-respect, it's important to recognize this and find the strength to walk away. Respect yourself and don't allow anyone, even those close to you, to diminish you. If you found this video helpful, support the channel with a like and subscription. Leave a comment about which phrases you think are dangerous for relationships. Remember, your life and happiness depend on you, and you deserve a relationship where you are respected.
Subscribe to our channel. Are you ready to become the best version of yourself? On our channel, we share samurai techniques and lessons that will help you develop your charisma, confidence, and inner strength. If you're looking for real self-development tools and striving for personal growth, you'll find exactly what you need here. By developing your thinking and choosing quality content, you not only become a more interesting person, but also create an aura around you that attracts people. Knowing how to attract others starts with working on yourself, and that work never ends. Every day is an opportunity to become a better person, and your efforts will be noticed.